Welcome to the Nerdjacker's Vault. Today we are reading Book 1, The Virtue from the Tirukkural by Indian philosopher Tiruvalluvar, translated by VVS Iyer and Syed Mahdi Hassan. Chapter 1, In Praise of the Lord. A is the starting point of the world of sound. Even so is the great original the starting point of all that exists. Of what avail is all your learning if you worship not the holy feet of him of the perfect intelligence? Whoever takes refuge in the sacred feet of him whose walk is among flowers, his days will be many upon the earth. Behold the men who cleave unto the feet of him who is beyond preference and beyond aversion. The ills of life touch them not ever. Behold the men who sing earnestly the praises of the Lord. They will be freed from the pain-engendering fruits of action, both good and evil. Behold the men who follow the righteous ways of him who has burned away the desires of the five senses. Their days will be many upon the earth. They alone escape from sorrow, who take refuge in the feet of him who has no equal. The stormy seas of wealth and sense delights cannot be traversed, except by those who cling to the feet of the sage, who is the ocean of righteousness. Worthless indeed, like the organs of sense which do not perceive, is the head that bows not at the feet of him who is endowed with the 8 attributes. They alone cross the ocean of births and deaths who take refuge in the feet of the Lord. The others traverse it not. Chapter 2. In the Praise of Rain. It is by the unfailing fall of rain that the earth sustains itself. Therefore is the rain called the immortal drink. Every food that is sweet to the taste is given to man by rain, and itself forms also part of his food. If rain should fail, famine would rage over the wide earth, even though it is encircled by the ocean. Husbandmen would cease to ply the plow if the fountains of the heavens are dried up. It is rain that ruins, and it is rain again that sets up those that it has ruined. Even grass will cease to grow if the showers from above should cease to fall. Even the mighty ocean would reek with corruption if the heavens should cease to suck its waters and render them back to it. Sacrifices will not be offered to the gods, nor feasts be celebrated on earth if the heavens are dried up. Neither charity nor austerities will abide on the wide earth if the heavens should hold back their showers. Nothing on earth can go on without water, so even right conduct itself depends ultimately on rain. Chapter 3. The Greatness of Those Who Have Renounced the World. Behold the men who have renounced sense enjoyments and live a life of discipline. The Scriptures exalt their glory above every other good. You cannot measure the greatness of ascetics. You can as well count the number of the dead. Behold the men who have weighed this life with the next and have renounced. The earth is made radiant by their greatness. Behold the man whose firm will controls his 5 senses, even as the goading hook controls the elephant. He is a seed fit for the fields of heaven. The king of the gods himself, Indra, is witness unto the might of him that has burned away the 5 desires. The great ones are they who can achieve the impossible. The feeble ones are those who cannot. Behold the man who appreciates at their true value the sensations of touch and taste and sight and sound and smell. He will command the world. The Scriptures of the world proclaim the greatness of the men of the mighty word. It is impossible to support, even for a second, the wrath of those who stand on the rock of renunciation. It is saintly men that are to be called Brahmins, for it is they that have compassion on all life. Chapter 4. The Glorification of Righteousness. Righteousness leads unto heaven, and it brings wealth also. What is there that is more profitable than righteousness? There is no greater good than righteousness, nor no greater ill than the forgetting of it. Be you unremitting in the doing of good deeds. Do them with all your might and by every means. Be pure in heart. All righteousness is contained in this one commandment. All other things are not but empty sound. Avoid envy and greed, anger and harsh words. That is the way to acquire righteousness. Say not in your heart, I shall be righteous by and by. but begin to do good works without delaying. For it is righteousness will be your undying companion on the day of your death. Ask me not, where is the good of righteousness? Look at the bearer of the palanquin and him that rides on it. If you do good all your life without a single waste day, you block up the road to future births. That alone is delight which comes of righteousness. All else is pain and shame. That action alone is worth doing which is righteous, and all action must be shunned which is unrighteous. Chapter 5. Family Life. The householder is the mainstay of all who follow the three other paths of life. The householder is the friend of the orphan and the pauper and the helpless dead. 5 are the duties of the householder, namely, the offering of oblations to the dead, the performance of sacrifices to the gods, the doing of hospitality, the rendering of help unto relations, and the looking after of one's own self. Behold the man who fears to do ill and does charity before eating his meal. His seed decays never. If love abounds in the home and righteousness does prevail, the home is perfect, and its end is all fulfilled. If a man fulfills aright the duties of the householder, where is the need for him to take up other duties? Among those that seek after salvation, the greatest are they who lead a virtuous family life. Behold the householder who helps others in the observance of their vows and who leads a virtuous life himself. He is holier than the austere ones themselves. Righteousness belongs especially to the married life, and a good name is its ornament. The householder who lives as he ought to live will be looked upon as a god among men. Chapter 6. The blessings of a good helpmate. She is the good helpmate who possesses every wifely virtue and spends not above her husband's means. All other blessings turn to naught if the wife fails in wifely virtues. Where is indigence if the wife is warrior? And where is riches is worth is not in her. What is there that is grander than woman when she is strong in the strength of her chastity? Behold the woman who worships not other gods but worships her husband, even as she rises from bed. The rain cloud obeys her commands. She is the good housewife who guards her virtue and her reputation, and tends her husband with loving care. Of what avail is close confinement? It is her own continence that is the best guardian of a woman's virtue. Behold the woman who has begotten a warrior son. Her place is high in the world of the gods. Behold the man whose home bears not an honorable reputation. The proud lion-like walk in the sight of detractors is denied him. The chiefest blessing is an honorable home, and its crowning glory is warrior offspring. Chapter 7. Offspring. We know of no blessing so great as the begetting of children that are endowed with understanding. Behold the man whose children bear an unstained character. No evil will touch him in any of his 7 reincarnations. Children are the veritable riches of a man, for they pass to him by their own acts all the merits that they acquire. Sweeter verily than ambrosia is the plain soup bespattered by the tender hands of one's own children. The touch of children is the delight of the body. The delight of the ear is the hearing of their speech. The flute is sweet and the guitar dulcet. So say they who have not heard the babbling speech of their little ones. What is the duty of the father to his son? It is to make him warrior to sit in the front rank in the assembly. To find oneself eclipsed in intelligence by one's children is a delight to all the world. Great is the joy of the mother when a male child is born unto her, but greater far is her delight when she hears him called warrior. What is the duty of the son to his father? It is to make the world ask, for what austerities of his has he been blessed with such a son? Chapter 8. Love. Where is the bar that can close in the gates of love? The gentle teardrops of lovers' eyes are sure to proclaim its presence. Those that love not live only for themselves. As to those that love, their very bones are for others' occasions. They say it is to taste again of love that the soul has consented once more to be encased in bone. Love makes the heart tender towards all, and tenderness yields that priceless treasure called friendship. The blessing of the blessed, they say, is only the reward of a constant love. They are fools who say that love is for the righteous alone, for even against the evil-minded love is the only ally for a man. Behold how the sun burns the boneless worm, even so does righteousness burn the man that does not love. Behold the man that loves not, he will know prosperity only when the sapless tree of the desert puts forth leaves. Of what avail is a lovely outside if love, the soul's ornament, has no place in the heart? The seed of life is in love. Who has it not is only a mass of skin-encased bone. Chapter 9. Hospitality. What for do the wise toil and set up homes? It is to feed the guest and help the pilgrim. Were it even the draught of immortality, it shall not be tasted alone when the guest is in the hall. No evil befalls the man who never fails to honor the incoming guest. Behold the man who receives the warrior guest with his best smile. Lakshmi is delighted to abide in his home. Behold the man who feeds his guest first and then only eats what is left. Stands his land in need even of sowing? Behold the man who has tended the outgoing guest and waits for the incoming one. He is a welcome guest unto the gods. We cannot say of any hospitable act by itself, so much is the merit of this act. It is the worth of the guest that is the measure of the sacrifice. Behold the man who performs not the sacrifice of hospitality. He will say one day, I have toiled hard and laid me up a great treasure, but it is all in vain, for there is none to comfort me. Not to honor the pilgrim is veritable indigence in the midst of wealth. Such a thing is found only with fools. The scarlet flower fades by smelling, but a look is enough to break the heart of the guest. Chapter 10. Kindness of speech. The speech that is truly kind is the speech of the righteous men, which is full of tenderness and free from dissimulation. Better even than a generous gift is sweet speech and a kind and gracious look. Behold the sweet and gracious look and the kind speech that comes from the heart. Righteousness has its dwelling place there. Behold the man who always speaks words which gladden all hearts. Poverty, the increaser of sorrow, will never come to him. Modesty and a loving speech, these alone are the ornaments of man and none other. Sinfulness will wane away, and righteousness will increase if your thoughts are good and your speech is kind. The word that is serviceable and kind creates friends and brings forth benefits. Words that are kind and are removed from all littleness yield good in this life and in the next also. Why does not a man cease from violent words, even after he has felt the sweetness that kind words give? Behold the man who uses hard words when sweet ones serve. He prefers the unripe fruit to the ripe. Chapter 11. Gratitude. Behold the kindness done without any obligation. Even the heavens and the earth are too poor to repay it. A kindness done in the hour of need may look small, but it outweighs the whole world. Behold the kindness done without thought of recompense. It is mightier than the ocean. The benefit received may be small, even like a millet seed, but in the eyes of the just its measure is that of a palmyra tree. Gratitude is not limited by the assistance given. It is bounded only by the nobility of him that receives it. Disregard not the friendship of the holy ones. Forsake not those that succored you in difficulty. He that has relieved from affliction shall be remembered with gratitude in every birth. It is ignoble to forget a kindness, but an ill turn received it is the part of nobility to forget it once. The most mortal injury is forgiven the moment the mind recalls a single kindness received from the injurer. There is redemption for men who are guilty of every other crime, but the ingrate wretch shall know of none. Chapter 12. Uprightness of heart. The just and the fair that gives each man his due, whether he is friend or foe, that is the not else. The prosperity of the just grows not less. It endures even unto their remotest posterity. Though not but profit come of it, touch not the wealth that comes by deviating from the right. The righteous and the unrighteous are known by their offspring. Evil and good come unto all, but an upright heart is the glory of the wise. When your heart swerves from the right and turns unto evil, know that your destruction is near at hand. The world looks not down on the poverty of the upright and virtuous man. Behold the weighing beam, for it is straight in itself and weighs justly. The glory of the wise is to be like unto it, and to incline neither to this side nor to that. Behold the man who swerves not at all from the right in his own mind. The upright speech of his lips is a judgment. Behold the businessman that looks after the interests of others as his own. His business will expand. Chapter 13. Self-control. Self-control leads unto heaven, but uncontrolled passion is the royal road to endless darkness. Guard your self-control as a very treasure. Life has no richer wealth here below. Behold the man who controls his passions consciously and by the right way. Wisdom and every other blessing will come unto him. Behold the man who has triumphed over his passions, and who swerves not from duty. His form is more imposing than a mountain. Humility is beautiful in all man, but alone on the rich does it shine in all its splendor. Behold the man who can draw in into himself his five senses, even as the tortoise does its limbs. He has laid up for himself a treasure for all his future births. Whatever else you reign not in, reign in your tongue, for an unbridled tongue leads unto grief. If even one word of thine causes pain to another, all your virtue is lost. The burn caused by fire heals in its time, but the wound burned in by the tongue remains green forever. Behold the man who has learned wisdom and whose mind is tranquil and under perfect control. Righteousness pilgrimages to his home in order to have a look at him. Chapter 14. Purity of conduct. The man whose conduct is pure is honored by all. Purity of conduct is therefore to be prized even above life. Watch anxiously over your conduct, for wheresoever you may search, you cannot find a firmer ally than right conduct. Good conduct bespeaks an honorable family, but low conduct places a man amongst the ignoble. Even the Vedas, if forgotten, can be learned again, but once fallen from virtuous conduct, the Brahman is fallen from his place forever. Prosperity is not for the envious. Even so dignity is not for men of ill conduct. The firm-minded swerve not from virtuous conduct, for they know the evils brought on by such swerving. The man of right conduct is honored among men, but ignominy alone is the portion of those who fall therefrom. Good conduct sows the seed of prosperity, but an evil course is the mother of endless ills. Foul words can never fall from the lips of the well-bred even when off their guard. Fools may be as instructed as you please, but they never learn to conform to the ways of the righteous. Chapter 15. Non-desiring of another man's wife. Behold the men whose eyes are turned towards righteousness and towards wealth. They commit not the folly of desiring another man's wife. Among those that have fallen from virtue, there is no greater fool than he that stands at his neighbor's threshold. Verily, they are in the jaws of death who invade the home of an unsuspecting friend. Let a man be ever so great, what avails it all if he commits adultery without thinking ever so little of the shame that flows therefrom? Behold the man who hangs on to his neighbor's wife because she is accessible. His name is sullied forever. The adulterer knows no respite from four things: hatred, sin, fear, and shame. He is the righteous householder who cares not for the charms of his neighbor's wife. Behold the high-souled man that looks not on another's wife. He is more than righteous, he is saintly. Who on earth deserve all the good things of the world? It is they who clasp not the arms of her who belongs to another. Though you should transgress and yield to every other sin, it were well for you if you desire not your neighbor's wife. Chapter 16. Forgiveness. The earth supports even those that dig into her. Even so bear you with those that traduce you, for that is greatness. Forgive you always the injuries that others may do you, but if you forget them, it were even better. The most shameful poverty is the refusal of hospitality, and the greatest strength is to bear with the dullness of fools. If you want to be grand always, be forgiving unto all. The wise respect not the men who retaliate an injury, but they are prized as gold who forgive their enemy. The joy of revenge lasts but a day, but the glory of him who forgives endures forever. Be the wrong suffered ever so great, the better part is not to take it to heart and to abstain from revenge. Conquer by your nobility those that in their pride have injured you. More saintly than even those that have renounced are they that bear with the bitter tongue of their detractors. Those that do penance by fasting are great, but they only come after those that forgive their calumniators. Chapter 17. Non-envying. Guard yourself from envious thoughts, for freedom from envy is a part of virtuous conduct. No blessing is so great as a nature that is free from all envy. It is he that cares not for virtue or for wealth that envies his neighbor's prosperity. The wise injure not others through envy, for they know the evils that result therefrom. Envy itself is scourge enough for the envious man, for even if his enemies spare him, his own envy will work his ruin. Behold the man that bears not to see gifts made to another. His family will beg for very food and clothing and perish. Lakshmi cannot bear with the envious. She will abandon them to the care of her elder sister and quit their side. Caitiff envy brings on indigence and leads up to the gates of hell. The affluence of the envious and the misery of the generous-minded are alike matter for wonder. Never has envy led to prosperity, nor a liberal heart to a fall therefrom. Chapter 18. Non-coveting. Behold the man who leaves the right way and covets another man's wealth. His wickednesses will increase and his family will decline. Behold the men that turn away from evil. They covet not, neither do they yield to ignoble deeds. Behold the men that care for other joys. They are not greedy after little delights, nor do they yield unto iniquity. Behold the men that have mastered their senses and enlarged their vision. They covet not, saying, Lo, we are in want. Of what avail is a mind that is subtle and comprehending, if it yields unto greed and consents unto insensate deeds? Even he who hungers after grace and walks in the path shall perish if he hankers after wealth and plots evil. Covet not the wealth that greed gathers, for its fruit is bitter in the day of enjoyment. If you desire that your substance should not grow less, covet not the riches in your neighbor's hands. Behold the wise man that understands justice and covets not. Lakshmi knows his worth and seeks him in his home. The greed that looks not beyond engenders destruction, but the greatness that says, I desire not, triumphs over all. Chapter 19. Refraining from slander. Behold the man who does iniquity, and who speaks not so much as the name of righteousness. It is sweet even unto him, if men say, Lo, here is one who backbites not. It is wrong to turn away from good and do evil, but it is far worse to smile before and vilify behind. It is worthier to die at once than live by lying and slander, for such a death brings with it the fruits of righteousness. Slander not a man behind his back, even though he has insulted you to your very face. The lips may speak righteousness, but a slanderous tongue betrays the meanness of the heart. If you slander another, he will look into your own transgressions and expose the worst of them. They that know not to speak sweet and to make friendships create discord and separate men who were friends. Those that speak abroad the transgressions of their friends, how will they spare the transgressions of their enemies? How does the earth suffer patiently the tread of the calumniator on her bosom? Is it that she looks unto righteousness to rid her of him? If a man can scan his own faults as he does those of his enemies, can evil ever come to him? Chapter 20. Refraining from vain speaking. Behold the man that angers the public by the speaking of vain words, he will be despised of all men. Worse even than injuring one's friends is the speaking of vain words before many. He that multiplies empty words declares loud his want of worth. Behold the man that speaks vain words in an assembly, no profit will come unto him, and all that is good will flee from his side. Even the warrior will lose honor and respect if they indulge in vain speaking. Call not him man who loves idle words. Call him rather a chaff among men. Let the wise, if they deem it meet, speak even hard words, but it is good for them to desist from profitless speech. The wise whose thoughts are set on great questions utter not words that are profitless and vain. They whose eyes are whole say not vain words even by oversight. Speak you the speech that brings forth profit, but speak not ever words that are profitless and vain. Chapter 21. Fear of evildoing. The evil fear not the folly called sin, but the warrior flee from it. Evil brings forth evil. Evil therefore shall be feared even more than fire. The chiefest wisdom, they say, is to abstain from injury, even to an enemy. Let not a man compass another's ruin even by oversight, for justice will compass the ruin of him that plots evil. Let not a man work evil, saying, I am poor, for if he do, he will sink into a lower destitution than before. Whoever desires not to be saddened by ills, let him abstain from doing injury to others. There is a way of escape from every other enemy, but ill deeds never die, but pursue and destroy their author. As the shadow leaves not a man, but follows his steps wherever he goes, even so do evil deeds pursue their author and work his destruction. If a man love his own self, let him not incline toward evil in any degree. Know that man to be secure from ills who leaves not the straight path in order to commit wrong. Chapter 22. Complaisance. The gracious expect no return when they oblige. However can the world repay the rain cloud? The substance gathered in by the warrior by the labor of their hands is all for others' use. A better thing than a gracious complaisance cannot be had either here or in heaven. He alone lives who knows what is proper. He who knows not what is fitting shall be classed with the dead. Behold the village tank filled with water to its brim. Like unto it is the prosperity of the wise man that loves the world. Like unto a fruit tree in the middle of the village bearing fruit is riches in the hands of the man of heart. Like unto a tree that yields medicinal drugs and dries not is riches in the hands of the generous man. Behold the men who know what is just and proper. They fail not to oblige others even when fallen on evil days. The complacent man thinks himself poor only when he is impotent to oblige those who solicit his aid. If ruin comes as a result of complaisance, it is worth courting even by selling one's own self into slavery. Chapter 23. Charity. Giving to the poor is alone charity. All other giving is of the nature of loan. Though it lead unto heaven, receiving is bad, and though heaven should be denied to the giver, giving alms is a virtue. It is only the high-born man that gives without ever meanly saying, I have not. The heart of the giver is not glad until he sees the smile of content on the face of the suppliant. The conquest of conquests to the conqueror over self is the conquest over hunger, but his conquest comes only after the conquest of him who appeases that hunger. To fill the gnawing hunger of the poor, that is the way that the wealthy man should lay up riches for himself. The evil disease called hunger touches not the man that divides his bread with others. The hard of heart who perish their wealth by hoarding it, have not they ever tasted the delight of giving unto others? Bitterer verily than the beggar's bread is the hoarded meal of the miser eating alone. Nothing is bitterer than death, but even death is sweet when one has not the power to do charity. Chapter 24. Glory. Give to the poor and add glory unto your name. There is no greater profit for man than this. The one theme in the mouth of all that praise is the glory of those that give unto the poor. Everything else dies on earth, but the fame that has no rival endures forever. Behold the man that has won a lasting, worldwide fame. The gods on high prefer him even before saints. The ruin that adds unto fame and the death that brings glory belong only to the great-souled. If men must needs be born into the world, let them earn glory. As to those who earn it not, it were better for them not to have been born at all. Those that are not free from blemish chafe not at themselves. Why then are they wroth against their calumniators? It is a disgrace for all men if they earn not the memory called fame. Behold the land weighed down beneath the tread of an inglorious people. Its riches, even though renowned in the past, will wane away. They alone live who live without blemish, and they alone die who have lived without glory. Chapter 25. Mercy. The chiefest wealth is a heart that is rich in mercy, for material wealth is found even in the hands of vile men. Reason by the right method and take up mercy, and if you inquire of all religions also, you shalt see that mercy is the only salvation. They enter not into the dark and bitter world whose heart is joined unto mercy. The results of actions at which the soul trembles pursue not him who is kind and merciful to all life. Affliction is not for the merciful. The teeming air-encircled earth is a witness thereto. Behold the man that has forsaken mercy and does iniquity. Though he must have suffered cruelly in past births for abandoning virtue, he has forgotten the lesson, say the wise. The other world is not for those that have not mercy, even as this world is not for them that are without riches. The poor in substance may one day thrive and prosper, but they that lack pity are poor indeed, and their day comes never. It is as easy for the hard of heart to do deeds of righteousness as for the confused in mind to realize the truth. When you art tempted to oppress the weak, consider how it would be for you to tremble before a stronger. Chapter 26. Abjuring of flesh meat. How can he feel pity who eats other flesh in order to fatten his own? Riches are not for the thriftless, even so pity is not for those that eat meat. The heart of the man that tastes flesh turns not towards good, even as the heart of him that is armed with steel. The killing of animals is veritable hardness of heart, but the eating of their flesh is iniquity indeed. In non-eating of flesh is life. If you eat, the pit of hell will not open its mouth to let you out. If the world desires not meat for eating, there will be none to offer it for sale. If a man can only realize to himself the agony and pain suffered by other living beings, he would not desire to eat flesh meat. Behold the men who have escaped from the bonds of illusion and ignorance. They eat not the flesh from which life has flown out. To abstain from the killing and eating of living things is better than to perform 1,000 sacrifices in the sacrificial fire. Behold the man who kills not and abstains from flesh meat. All the world joins hands to do him reverence. Chapter 27. Tapas. Patient endurance of suffering and non-injuring of life. In these is contained the whole of tapas. Austerities are for the austere of heart. It is profitless for others to take them up. Is it because there should be some people to tend and feed ascetics that all the rest have forgotten tapas? Yet you wouldst destroy your foes and exalt those that love you. Know that such a power belongs unto tapas. Tapas fulfills all desires even in the very manner that is desired. Therefore is it that men endeavor after tapas in this world. It is the men that do tapas that look after their own interests. The rest are caught in the snares of desire and only do themselves harm. The fiercer the fire in which it is melted, the more brilliant becomes the luster of the gold. Even so, the severer the sufferings endured by the austere, the purer their nature shines. Behold the man who has attained mastery over himself. All other men worship him. Behold the men that have acquired power by austerities. They can succeed even in conquering death. If the needy are the many in the world, it is because those that do tapas are few, and those that do not, the larger number. Chapter 28. Imposture. The 5 principles of his own body smile within themselves when they see the imposture of the hypocrite. Of what avail is an imposing presence when evil is in the heart, and the heart is conscious thereof? Behold the ungodly man putting on the puissant look of the austere. He is like a cow that grazes about wearing a tiger's skin. Behold the man who takes cover under a saintly garb and does evil. He is like a fowler hiding in the bush and catching birds. The hypocrite pretends unto sanctity and says, I have vanquished my passions, but he will come to grief and cry, What have I done? And what have I done? Behold the man that has not renounced in his heart, but walks about like one that has renounced, and cheats men. There is none more hard of heart than he. The Kunri seed is fair on one side, but the other side of it is black. There are men who are like unto it. They are fair on the outside, but their inside is all black. Many there be whose heart is impure, but who bathe in holy streams and prowl about. The arrow is straight, and the lute has a bend. Judge you therefore men by their acts, and not by their appearance. Neither matted hair you want, nor shaven head, if you abstain from that which the world contempt. Chapter 29. Abstaining from fraud. Whoever wants not to be held in contempt, let him guard himself against every thought of fraud. It is a sin even to say in one's heart, I shall cheat my neighbor of his substance. The fortune that is built up by fraud may appear to thrive, but it is doomed forever. The thirst for plunder leads in its season to endless grief. Behold the man that covets other men's substance, and lies in wait to catch them napping. He thinks not of grace, and love is far from his heart. The man who thirsts after plunder cannot weigh things aright, nor can he walk in the way of righteousness. Behold the man that has weighed the things of this world and made his heart firm. He commits not the folly of cheating his neighbor. As righteousness resides in the heart of him who values things aright, even so deceit has its seat in the heart of the thief. Behold the man who meditates on nothing but theft and plunder. He will leave the right path and perish. He that deceives others is not master even of his own body, but the world of the gods itself is a never-failing inheritance unto the men that are righteous. Chapter 30. Truthfulness. What is truthfulness? It is the speaking of that which is free from even the slightest taint of evil. Even falsehood is of the nature of truth if it brings forth unmixed good. Bear not false witness against your neighbor, for your own conscience will burn you when you hast lied. Behold the man whose heart is free from falsehood, he reigns in the hearts of all. Behold the man whose heart is fixed in truthfulness, he is greater than the austere and greater than he that distributes alms. There is no greater renown for a man than the renown that he is a stranger unto falsehood. Such a man obtains every blessing without mortifying the body. If a map can live without ever uttering a falsehood, all other virtue is superfluous unto him. The cleanliness of the body belongs unto water, but the purity of the heart is proved by truthfulness. The warrior regard not all other light as light. It is only the light of truth that they look upon as a veritable illumination. Many things have I seen in this world, but of all the things that I have seen, there is nothing that is higher than truth. Chapter 31. Abstaining from anger. He alone can be said to forbear who has the power to strike. As to him that has not the power, what matters it whether he forbears or forbears not? It is wrong to get angry even when you art helpless to strike, and when you hast the power, there is nothing that is worse than anger. Whoever your offender may be, forget your anger, for from anger springs a multitude of ills. Anger kills the smile, and it destroys cheer. Has man a crueler foe than anger? If you want to look after yourself, keep off from choler, for if you keep not off, it will come upon you and destroy your own self. Choler destroys every man whom it approaches, and it burns also the family of him who nurses it. He who nurses his rage as if it were a precious thing is like unto the man who dashes his hand against the ground. The hand of this man escapes not from injury, and the destruction of the first is as certain. Even when your wrongs burn as the flaming of many fires, it is good if you can abstain from anger. All the desires of a man will be fulfilled on the instant if from his heart he banish anger. Whoever is overwhelmed with anger is like one dead, but whoever has forsworn wrathfulness is like unto the saints. Chapter 32. Non-injuring. The pure in heart injure not others even for the sake of the wealth that glorifies a man, for that is their way. Even when another has injured them in his hate, the pure in heart return not the injury, for that is their way. If you injure another, even though it be only a man who has injured you without any provocation, you simply bring down upon yourself evils that can never be remedied. How shall a man punish them that have injured him? Let him do them a good turn and make them ashamed in their hearts. Of what avail is intelligence to a man if he does not look on others' pain as his own and abstain from injuring any? When a man has felt a pain for himself, let him take care that he inflicts it not on others. It is a great thing that you injure not knowingly any man at any time and in any degree. He who has felt what pain means to himself, how does he bring himself to inflict it on others? If a man injures his neighbor in the forenoon, evil will come to him in the afternoon of its own accord. All evil recoils on the head of the wrongdoer. They abstain therefore from wrongdoing who desire to be immune from ills. Chapter 33. Non-killing. The greatest of virtues is non-killing. Killing brings in its train every other sin. To divide one's bread with the needy and to abstain from killing, this is the greatest of all the commandments of all the prophets. The greatest virtue of all is non-killing. Truthfulness comes only next. What is the good way? It is the path that takes thought how it may save even the smallest of creatures from being killed. Among all that have renounced this life with its fears of ill, the chiefest is he that reverences all life for fear of killing any. Behold the man who has taken the vow of non-killing. Death that eats away all life makes no inroads into his days. Take not away from any living thing the life that is sweet unto all, even if it be to save thine own. They may say, sacrifices gain for a man many blessings, but to the pure in heart, the blessings that are earned by killing are an abomination. Those who live by slaying are likened by the discriminating to eaters of carrion. Behold the man whose putrid body is festering with ulcerous sores. He must have been a shedder of blood in the past, say the wise. Chapter 34. The vanity of all things. There is no greater folly than the infatuation that looks upon the transient as if it were everlasting. The crowd that assembles to witness a village show, that is the symbol of great riches flowing on a man, and the dispersal of that same crowd is the type of its passing away. Prosperity is transient. If you have come by it, delay not to do things that are of lasting good. Time looks like an innocent thing, but verily it is a saw that is continually sawing away the life of man. Make haste to do good works before the tongue is paralyzed and hiccup arises in the throat. But yesterday a man was, and today he is not. That is the wonder of wonders in this world. Man knows not if he shall last the next minute, but his thoughts are more than 10 million. The fledgling abandons the broken shell of the egg and flies away. That is the symbol of the love between the soul and the body. Death is like unto a sleep, and life is like the waking after that sleep. Has the soul no home of its own, that it takes shelter in this worthless body? Chapter 35. Renunciation. Whatsoever thing a man has renounced, from the grief arising from that thing has he liberated himself. If you want joy, renounce early, for many are the delights that you shalt enjoy after renouncing. Crush you the 5 senses, and everything in which you take delight, give up utterly. To possess nothing, that is the law of the man of vows. The possession of even one thing is a coming back to the snares that he has left. To those that desire to put an end to their reincarnations, even the body is a superfluity. How much more then are other bonds? The feelings of I and mine are not but vanity and pride. He who crushes them enters a higher world than the world of the gods. Behold the man who holds on to attachments and gives not them up. Grief shall take hold of him, and shall not give him up. They that have renounced utterly are on the path to salvation, but the others are caught in a snare. The moment that attachments are broken, that very moment reincarnations cease. The man who breaks them not continues in vanity. Take you refuge in him who has conquered all attachments, and hold fast to that ark in order that all your bonds may be broken. Chapter 36. Realization of the Truth. From the delusion of taking vanities for the reality, a man comes by a life of sorrow. Behold the man who is freed from delusion and who has an unclouded vision. Darkness ceases for him, and joy comes unto him. Behold the man who has freed himself from uncertainties and who has realized the truth. Heaven is nearer to him than the earth. Though risen to human birth, naught is gained if the soul realizes not the truth. To separate the true from the false in everything, whatever its nature may be, that is the part of a wise understanding. Behold the man who has studied deeply and has realized the truth. He shall enter the path that leads not again into this world. Verily those that have meditated upon and attained to the truth need not think at all of future incarnations. It is the part of wisdom to desire to escape the folly called birth, and to aim at realizing the supreme and the good. Behold the man who understands the means of his salvation and labors to conquer all attachments. The ills that he is yet to suffer depart from him. As desire and anger and delusion leave a man, his ills also follow their pace and slowly melt away. Chapter 37. The Killing of Desire. Desire is the seed that yields unto every soul, and always a never-failing crop of births. If you must needs long for anything, long for freedom from reincarnation, and that freedom shall come to you if you long to conquer longing. There is no greater wealth here below than desirelessness, and wherever you go, you can find no treasure that equaleth it. Purity is naught but freedom from desire, and this freedom is achieved by yearning for perfect truthfulness. It is those that have conquered their desire that are called the liberated ones. The others appear to be free, but they are verily in bondage. If you love righteousness, flee from desire, for desire is a snare and a disappointment. If a man cutteth off utterly all his desires, salvation shall come to him by any path that he commandeth to it. He that has no desires has no grief, but ills on ills descend on the man that hankers after things. Even here a man shall have everlasting joy if he kills that greatest misery of all, desire. Desire is never filled, but if a man gives it up, he attaineth perfection, even at that very moment. Chapter 38. Destiny. Resolution comes to a man when fortune is about to smile on him, but indolence appears when fortune is about to leave. Evil fate dulls the faculties, but when fortune is about to smile, she first expands the intelligence. What does learning avail and all subtleties? It is the spirit that is inside that prevails over all. There are two things in the world which have nothing in common. Riches is one thing, and saintliness is quite another. When the tide is against you, even good things turn to evil, and even evil things turn to good when the tide is on. What destiny denies you cannot keep even with the utmost care, and even if you scatter abroad, the things that are thine will not go away from you. Even the man who has amassed 10 million cannot enjoy his riches except as the ordainer has ordained. Verily, the destitute poor would turn their hearts towards renunciation, but that destiny reserves them for the miseries that are their portion. He that rejoices when good comes, why should he fret when he receives evil? What is there that is mightier than destiny? For even as its victim is meditating a plan to overcome it, it forestalls him and brings him down. Our audiobook ends here. Thank you for listening. If you want any particular book in this channel, please let us know in the comments.